Hello everyone, I'm your host Laugh Smiles, and welcome to the channel. Today I decided to see which tank would be superior, the E100 or the Jagdpanzer E100. The advantage that the E100 has over the Jagdpanzer is a turret, obviously, as well as the E100 has more hit points, around 1,000 more hit points than the Jagdpanzer. While the Jagdpanzer actually has more DPM, more damage per shot, and has one of the best penetration levels in the entire game. I just thought it would be a really cool idea to put both of these tanks head to head. Now let's get into the replay. Because I didn't spot anyone before, I pulled around this corner, not expecting the Jagdpanzers to be there, and I kind of got wrecked, but I still ended up bouncing one shot. Since with my adrenaline, I knew that I would be able to reload faster than the enemy Jagdpanzer, so I was just barely able to get that shot in and angle my turret back to end up deflecting the shell. But I did take an HE round from one of the other Jagdpanzers. As you can see, the E100s are taking some pretty nasty shots from the Jagdpanzers. And as you may notice here, I loaded up the high explosive just to make sure that I got the kill on the Jagdpanzer. But I did end up taking a pretty nasty shot in return, over 800 damage, so I have to be extra careful now. I didn't necessarily know where the second Jagdpanzer was at this moment, so I was just being very cautious, staying behind the building. And there they are. Something I didn't necessarily notice at first was the other Jagdpanzer was pulling up over the ridge to shoot me, but I did end up getting a shot into the lower plate. Now I thought it was a good idea to go and try to help my teammates out with the other Jagdpanzer. Even though the E100s are in the lead right now in regards to guns, there are still 2 one-shots, even to a high explosive from one of the Jagaroos. Finally, the other Jagdpanzer was spotted, and they ended up starting to side scrape out from the corner, probably just looking for a high explosive shot, just to splash me. Now I was just able to get behind the building to not be hit by the Jagdpanzer, but sadly for the E100s, my teammate did not make it behind just in time. I got a shot into the lower plate of the Jagdpanzer, but they have the reload on me, so they'll easily be able to take me out with an HE shot. And after that, now it is a pretty easy win for the Jagdpanzers, since there's only one E100 that is a 2-shot to the Jagdpanzers. Now it is 1-0, the Jagdpanzers are in the lead for now. Now for the second game, I ended up getting quite a bit more people into the training room, and we actually decided to go up top of the hill in Middleburg to maybe catch the Jagdpanzers off guard based on the position of the last round. of where the Jagdpanzers were. As you might notice, the Jagdpanzers are actually capturing the base, which is usually something that I do not allow in these rooms. Just I have everybody fight to the end. It's just that some people didn't understand that necessarily. So the E100s managed to spot one Jagdpanzer who's falling behind, and we pretty much wrecked them in a few shots right at the beginning. But I do take a nasty shot from one of the Jagdpanzers from off to the right side. Now you can see I loaded up the HE ready to reset the capture, but my teammates ended up doing that. So I was just able to splash the Jagdpanzer for 200 damage with my HE round. Now you can see two enemy Jagdpanzers coming up towards me, but I knew they were on a longer reload than me, so I was able to sneak a shot in right there. While I was side-scraping out here, one of the enemy Jagdpanzers ended up penning me in my turret, which was disappointing, so now I am a one-shot for the rest of this game. Now that one of my teammates is gone from behind me, the two enemy Jagdpanzers pulled up right there, and they actually did not end up destroying me. One was a low roll on the high explosive splash, and the other one actually missed me altogether. But now there's a Jagdpanzer on my rear and on my front, and they're just smushing me in here. So now I am easily taken out. Right now the Jagdpanzers are in the lead by one tank, except for we do have a full hit point E100 and a pretty high hit point E100 against a few lower hit point Jagdpanzers. So now the E100 and the Jagdpanzer E100 in sector 1 to 2 are just brawling it out, while the E100 up on top of the hill is starting to move down. So good for this E100, they took out the enemy Jagdpanzer, and now there is a one-shot and a half health Jagdpanzer left. So the Jagdpanzer, because they couldn't penetrate the E100, went for an HE round, and now the E100 on top of the hill can get an easy side shot into the Jagdpanzer. So now it's a pretty easy win for the E100s, because it is just a two-shot Jagdpanzer against two E100s that are more than 3 shots for one and 1 shot for the other. So now it is 1 for the Jagdpanzers and 1 for the E100s. Now on to the tie-breaking round to see who will be superior to the other, the Jagdpanzers or the E100s. This time the E100s decided to push town instead of hill, and while I pulled around this corner I ended up being spotted. I spotted one enemy Jagdpanzer, but I was unable to get any shots into them. Now that there have been 2 Jagdpanzers spotted here, I am pretty sure that the entire Jagdpanzer enemy team is over in town as well. Unless a few of them have gone to the top and they have separated. Still, the Jagdpanzers are still holding back behind in cover while the E100s advance. So here I could see the Jagdpanzer was angling a little bit too far over where they couldn't get any shots into me, so I just pulled out and got a heat round into them. But for some reason, our E100 decided to YOLO in front of almost all the other Jagdpanzers. But there is still hope for the E100 since there is some lower hit point Jagdpanzers. So I pulled around this corner to see if I could get a shot, but unluckily my shot ended up bouncing and I ended up taking an 800 plus shot from another Jagdpanzer. Knew we needed to take out this Jagdpanzer, so I loaded up the HE and just splashed the engine deck for 250 damage, taking them out. While I was trying to bait a shot, I ended up poking just a little bit too far and taking a shot right through the drive wheel, destroying my track and damaging my engine. There is an unlucky bounce, and now the Jagdpanzers are starting to surround me and this other E100. Now this is where a turret comes in handy, where I was able to get to the side of that Jagdpanzer. It's just that it's a little bit too late, and I now have a damaged engine, and it's pretty much over for me. And now I got taken out, and it was just one E100 versus 2 Jagdpanzers. So the Jagdpanzers ended up winning more than the E100s, even when I did more games than just these 3. So overall, the Jagdpanzers, just because they have the extra alpha, the DPM, and the penetration, ended up proving superior to the E100's turret and hit points. Thank you to everyone who helped out in this training, and thanks for watching. I will hopefully see you